dealing heavily with sexuality and dealing with the different yin glands and essences and things like that. We're going to start off with something basic right here, which is the the 9 openings of man. And of course, the 9 openings of man, we should all know our great master teacher who's gone on, Dr. C. Freeman L., has taught us this many times. You have 2 ear openings, we all know, basically. Eye openings, nostril openings, 1 mouth opening, 1 penis opening, and 1 anus opening. So that's the number 9 is completion. Okay, so the complete man has the 9 openings. Of course, outside your physical body, you're a man and woman, and the astral plane. But here, just to give you some basic information for those who may be looking at these lectures for the first time, things you should know. We're going to go on and let's look at the female version of that. And the female actually has 12 openings, which we're going to look more closely at later on, which is basically the same as man, except for she has the 2 breasts. She has the vagina opening, and also the there's another opening in the vagina. If I can think of the name, or we're going to read about it anyway. Urethra. The urethra. You don't come out of the same hole. A baby don't come out of the same hole that she pisses out of. Okay, so she got 2 holes down there. All right. So she has 2 holes down here, 2 openings. I would prefer to say. 2 breast openings, mouth, 2 nostrils, 2 eyes, and 2 ear openings. You also have, though, etheric openings, which we may be talking about a little bit later. Okay? So those are the basic 9 and 12. And of course, by this, we know that you could get 9 out of 12, but you can't get 12 out of 9. So that means the female more than likely came first, numerically speaking. Let's go to, because we're going to deal with quite a few subjects here, and I'm going to skip around just a little bit and give you some quotes also from some of our speakers and what they have said. Let's look at what Dr. Delbert Blair has said about sexuality and menstruation in particular. Delbert Blair said menstruating women in general lose calcium, diroxin, iodine, phosphorus, lecithin, vitamin E, vitamin 1, B1, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, magnesium, iron, copper, zinc, and sometimes, for some women, this starts 2 weeks prior to the menses, and that's when she's having a full moon. So you have 3 aspects of the female, we should all know. Before menstruation, during menstruation, and after menstruation. During menstruation, she loses a lot of her physical power, and the physical power comes outside her body, and in physical magic, it can be used as an occultist. You could use it, and that's the reason why you could use it, because of those elements that are in it. But the real science is 10 days before menstrual. Esoterically speaking, is where the real power is, but there's power in also the physical aspect of the menstrual also, and we're going to talk about that and how to use it. But that's what Dr. Delbert Blair has said all the way back in '92. And let's see what else Dr. Blair said. Calcium stabilizes the nervous system. Phosphorus is found in healthy normal cells. Iron causes, and these are the elements that came out in the menstrual. This is what's happening here when she menstruates. Phosphorus is found in all healthy normal cells. Iron causes the growth and maintenance of the thyroid gland. Iron. Okay, and we also know that the iodine also strengthens the thyroid gland, which is connected to mainly to your immune system. Somebody came to me yesterday and said, "Yo, my girl don't have to take the seaweed for the radiation because they cut out our thyroids." I said, "What?" And I said, "Look, brother, you're gonna have to, if you want her to live, you're going to have to change her diet, and she's going to have to absorb a lot of nutrition, especially iodine, because your glands could grow back. Your glands could grow back. So, but if you don't do the right things to allow them to grow back, your tonsils grow back. Even if you cut off your testicles, they may even grow back. So these things can grow back, but you have to change your the way you're living. So, and this is why the thyroid gland tends to swell during menstruation. So, how many times have you either heard stories or read stories of women going crazy when they have their menstrual cycle? Or they could kill you and not get no time and all kind of shit, you know, because they're on their menstrual or on their, what's the other one? The menopause, okay? And that's because of the thyroid gland. And the thyroid gland, which is happening a lot to our sisters based on Chernobyl, which went around the planet twice, and based on the radiation in your metal, in your plates and spoons, and cell phone towers and cell phones, and women love those iPads, so the thyroid glands are fucked up because of the radiation. But you have to, they would, like Blair said, you need iron and you need lots of iodine, okay? And that will strengthen that particular gland. Let's see.
And men need the iodine just as much.
Not as much, but it's good to have for the immune system. That's why you have a thyroid gland. Man, there's two types of thyroidism. Okay, there's hypothyroidism and then there's hyperthyroidism. Okay? One is up and one is down. Okay? One you eat a lot and you gain a lot of weight, one you don't eat enough. They're opposites.
And they switch up all the time.
In some people they do. Everyone is different based on genetics, but that's a possibility, definitely. Dr. Jules Pookrum, the highest concentration of melanin within the body is located in the genitals of the African male, okay? The second highest concentration is located in the genitals of the African woman, all right? So your phallus is a very powerful instrument, and like we talked about before, it's all over the world, right here in New York, as Tekken, it's all over the world. Okay, so your penis actually represents that dark, just like the black hole is black and represents an as above black hole in space, so does your penis. Even more so, according to Dr. Jewel Pookrum. Okay, and that's a sister. And she's a physician. Okay, now let's get a little more into some sexual energy and technique. We talked a lot about, before I do that, let's just show this image here of the vagina so we know what we're talking about, which is very simple. All of y'all probably seen this or came out of it, which is a vagina.
I think we all came out of it.
Right. But no, not everybody on this planet came out of a vagina.
That's true. You got a point there.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit later on about the G-spot. We know that this is the vagina here and the cervix, and all in here are different things, components of the vagina we're going to talk about in a little while. But what I want to show here is the vagina and its depth. And it says here, as you get within an inch of the opening, it says here, high sensitivity. So a lot of stimulation, a lot of sensitivity, and a lot of sexual energy is here right at the opening, but not so much as you get deeper. Okay, a woman has to really be stimulated well to go really deep, so quickly when you're going in. So really, most of the stimulation is here. Okay, now a woman's vagina is about the same length as the average man's penis, and when you're stimulated, your penis grows. Maybe 2 or 3 inches, some people. Same thing happens to the vagina. It's really only between 2 and 5 inches long. But when she's stimulated, all this opens up and it becomes 9 inches long. Okay? So she really, just like the man, like I said, man and woman spiritually are the same, astrally speaking. But she also gets aroused. Her erection goes within, your erection comes out. Or rather, I guess I'd call hers an eruption and yours an erection. Last week, we talked about the set of 9. Let's just, okay, before I do that, let me do this also. Vampirism. Vampirism sounds negative, but it can be good if you know how to do sexual techniques. Vampirism, gathering sexual energy when your partner is not concerned with energy cultivation by enjoying the pleasures of having many orgasms. So brothers or sisters, if you have a partner that don't care about the techniques and all that, and all they want to do is have an orgasm, you can vampire their energy, okay? But beware that you may possibly be ingesting the chi of a meat-eating partner. Okay, so be very selective of who you're with. And me personally suggest that you love the person, but we know that that doesn't happen all the time out here. The chi will be absorbed by your energetic field and physical tissues and begin to manifest the same energetic resolution. All right, so if you're having sex with a woman that's, you just like the way she looks and she got all kind of mess going on in her life and all of that, you absorb it into your auric field, okay? And psychic vampires use those women to vampire their energy, keep them having those constant orgasm, pulling that energy in, which we're gonna go through those techniques on how to do that. So you could do that with your lover. And that was the real war. It wasn't the real war was to have tanks and guns and fight out here. Real war was sexual. Those are the kind of techniques, the kind of war you would have with your mate. And it was a lot of fun, it was a lot of, it was real war, okay? You really had a war. So, because the female is a magnet and she's gonna pull your energy. So you have to learn certain techniques to either keep your energy or pull energy from her based on the partner's consciousness level. Okay? So sex just humping and that's it is not really good at all. At all. Let's just go to the next slide and see what happens. Vagina massage oil. You could use the Dulce seaweed, which I find excellent. You get yourself, go to one of these supermarkets, get the olive oil or pumpkin seed oil or saffron oil or sunflower oil or black seed oil. Not Crisco, not you know, all those funny oils that you see out there. Not walnut oil and pecan oil and all of that. There's too much fat in there, which kicks up around the heart. But the best one is actually the pumpkin seed oil. Second best, in my opinion, for this technique is olive oil. Then, of course, the black seed oil and so forth. If you get the olive oil, you get a big bottle, and what you do is you take the Dulce seaweed, you stuff it in a bottle and leave it there for about a month, but in a dark place. You could do that also with roses. Go to the farmer's market. Don't get the roses on the street with the Mexican guy from the cracker and sprayed and all like that. Go to the farmer's market where they actually grow them, and when you're done with them, or as soon as you buy them, take the petals off. And then when you take the petals off, you're gonna see in the middle a little, like a little section where bees pollinate. You want that whole section and the petals to go into the oil for about a week. Then after that, you can pour the oil into a fresh bottle and get rid of the petals if you want to, or you can eat the petals or whatever you want to do with it. They're edible, they're filled with vitamin C. That's a good one for massage, vaginal massage and penis massage. Those are excellent techniques to know, because sometimes if you don't do all the techniques sexually with your penis, with the female, then you could massage the vagina to actually hit certain meridians that will heal certain parts of our body, because sex was healing, for healing purposes also. So there are certain parts outside and inside the vagina that you would massage to actually begin to heal certain aspects of the female. And the same thing with the male, and you'll see here, the penis massage. Same thing with the male. The male has, on every level of his penis, and as I told you before, your penis size is your number. It has nothing to do with, it's just your number, and the number has a significant archetypical meaning. Not that one number is higher than the other. They just have, like, number 2 would be duality. Number 3 would be the Trinity. Number 9 would be completion. Number 8 would be infinity, and so on and so on. And so you can look all those numbers up, but your penis size represents your real number, who you are, because it's coming from the pineal, the other penis up here. Okay? So, vaginal massage, there are books on this. The technique is excellent, especially for the healing purposes with the sexual energy. Any questions so far? I mean, input, y'all could input, ask questions during the whole thing, all of that.
When you said about the diet,
Mhm.
could you just speak a little bit more on that, like investing the other person's energy as a meat eater?
Okay, if I'm a vegetarian and I meet a sister and at the club or whatever, and we go home that night, you don't know her, but you're a vegetarian, you keep yourself clean, you're conscious and all of that. She may be like go out to Kentucky Fried Chicken, McDonald's, and all toxic up and got many niggas behind her and all of that, and then you go and you actually sleep with her, your auric fields merge, okay? The chemicals in her vagina goes into the tip of your penis, and the chemicals in your body go into her. If you kiss her, the transfer of the saliva and all of that picks up that information. That's all that is, information. That information then goes into your auric field as a parasite, okay? So if you're a vegetarian and you have sex with a person like that, you have just become a meat eater. You just ate meat for the first time for a long time, okay? And which if you perform cunnilingus or oral sex, you're gonna do it anyway. You know, and you gotta be a madman to do that, man or woman, just meeting somebody out here these days, okay? So, did that answer your question? Yeah. So you could pick up stuff like that from almost anybody, but very careful with your partner. And we read that. I see him. Here's from Pascal Beverly Randolph's book, what he says about, we talked earlier about sexual energy and how a germ within the sperm could lay dormant within the vagina area and the crevices around the eggs and all of that. We talked about that last week. Here's what he says about it. All children by different fathers. All children by different fathers resemble the man who first knew the mother. Okay, so now, what he's saying here is that every lover or the children that she have some kind of features that go back to the person who first made love to her. Understand that? So that's the person who broke the veil. That's why virginity and those rituals dealing with the temples, as far as the Jews going through the tents and all of that, and on the altars and all that stuff, had to do with sexuality. And that's why it was so important. And all the stronger if she bore children by the first man. You see, so now if you have children, if you meet a woman that had a lover that broke her virginity and actually had a child, you get with her 20 years later, 10 years later, whatever, and then you have kids with her, then guess what? The kids are going to have some of the genetics of the previous person that she had kids with, or the person that actually broke her vagina. What is it? The hymen, I think it is. A white woman who may have offspring by a man of an African, of a man, wait a minute. A white woman who may have offspring by a man of an African can never afterwards have a pure blood, because the blood of the first has mingled with and become a part of the current of her, and of course enters into all she may subsequently bear. All right? So that's pretty much just reiterating what I just said. We're not going to do that one yet. We're going to do that one more at the end. Now here's something that's very, very interesting. And this is also by Pastor Bernie Randolph. We read some of this last week. We didn't get to finish reading it all. And again, if you have any questions, input, what you think about this, you know, want to be more like a discussion more than me just sitting here talking to you guys, you know, tell me how you feel about this. And in Pastor Bernie Randolph's book, the love is the law. If there is bound a love between two people, then they will again meet and know each other in the future sphere of action, whether in the soul world or shortly after death or after they have again reincarnated. Moreover, whether one believes that man dying will sleep for eternity and then at a general resurrection be awakened and aroused, or that the soul reincarnates again and again until it attains perfection. Love is the law that governs as to whether we shall or shall not meet again. Those we have known here, if there is no actual love between the two, where was I? Love and
If there is no actual love.
If there is no actual love between two people, then there is no blood or no bond between their souls, and consequently no reason for them meeting again or knowing each other if they do meet. So he's saying here in reincarnation, people who love each other reincarnate together, come back together. You could be the husband next time, the wife next time, and things like that. We talk mostly about that, a lot about that actually. So the people that you love travel with you, okay? And they become either part of your family or close friends. If you got close friends today, or family or people you talk to all the time, somewhere in the past life there was love there. Usually though, to become man and wife again, usually the wife may become the sister, or the husband could be the mother, or anybody, it changes so much. But there's a ritual you could do before you die. If you know a person is going to die, before they die, there's a ritual you do to make sure they come back as your husband or wife. And if we get to that stuff, we will talk about it. A couple of the laws dealing with Randolph and the immortality of love. Woman and man are not equals. We read this last week. They are diverse compatibles, each contrast and opposite the other, offsetting in all ways. The two together constitute the being called man. The second proposal of marriage is the peopling of the planet, of spaces. Its essence is spiritual. In true marriage, there is mutual infiltration. Is that infiltration?
Mm-hmm.
Of the soul, whence it happens, that nature is slowly molding each to resemble the other. So nature marries you. So we said this again last week, just to reiterate as we go on. When you see people who look alike, that's love, okay? Because nature marries you. If you see people walking down the street and they don't look like each other, guess what? You already know that they do not love each other. Okay, that's how you know. A piece of paper can't prove it. The ring can't prove it. That all gonna pass away and gone. Okay, but the spiritual connection, which the nature says, okay, y'all been together long enough vibratory transfers. Now you're gonna look like each other, and that is the marriage. If their likeness are not observed, it is pretty sure sign that there is but little love coursing around that home side, and still less flowing through the channels of their lives. Immortality of love. The great source of crime, illness, wretchedness, suffering has been traced to its one single source, and that is the abuse, improper use, and mismatching of people in their loves, conjugal relationships, and sexual incompatibilities. And that's why you see all the crime, all the messed up people, all the crazy, all whatever's messed up out there is because the people, when they had sex at the point of orgasm, they didn't love each other. And so it produces all kinds of mess out here. They have to love each other. Whether they stay married, whether they stay together, but at the point of conception, that's what the prisons are full of. People who did not love each other at the point of conception. It is proven that these bad conditions are frequent, the result of organization, and sometimes spring from incompatible electrical, magnetic, and chemical relations between couples. Now we're going to jump for a minute. I'm going to read this here. It says, women who are easily led to bed. Okay? So y'all, this is really not what you want to be hooking up with. But this is how to see, to tell what you're dealing with. A woman who looks sideways at you. Okay? These are women who are easily led to your bed. A woman who looks sideways at you. Okay? She's walking down the street, and keeps her head straight, and she goes side of her eye, and she's looking at you. Okay? A woman who hates her husband, well, of course. A woman who has not had children, okay? That's a possibility too. A woman who has not had, she might be trying to, she might even be married, but she might be trying to get pregnant and go home and tell the husband that's his kid. Okay? Because women do that, and their bodies orchestrate that, and so does your sperm. And we're going to get to that when we get to the sperm wars part. A woman who is fond of society, like the party. A woman who is outwardly very affectionate toward her husband. Okay? Now, remember what the topic is here. A widow, of course. A vain woman. What is a vain woman? Anybody know?
Vanity. In love with herself. Her looks.
In love with the mirror. Okay? Sitting there in the mirror all day long. A woman who is proud of her skill in the arts. A woman who is slighted by her husband without cause. A woman whose husband is devoted to travel. A jealous woman and a covetous woman. Okay? So those are the types of women who are easily led to your bed. Now, I don't know if you want them in your bed.
Well, you just knocked off 95% of all women. With this.
Excellent, excellent sexual position. And me and my queen, we're still trying to get in shape to get this right. So you gotta get the right chair and all that kind of shit, but this is the position. The necking crane position, okay? This removes the traumas of men. Any trauma in a man's life that you may have, it also helps you keep a really strong erection. Overuse, this is the reasons for using necking crane based on the traumas that a man may have in his life. And these are the traumas. Overuse of the jade stem before the age of 24, or underuse of the jade stem after 42. Okay? So, y'all know what the jade stem is, right? That's the phallus, that's the penis, that's the techet. Okay, it's known as the jade stem. Which, brother, Osiris's penis was green before he was bit off, right? He was green and then black. Right. Too frequent, let me just blow that up just a little bit.
Literally a lot of it.
All right, I think that should do it. Too frequent dissipation of semen. Okay, that's actually ejaculating too much. Now, I'm not against retention, but I'm saying to you that retention is not really for the black man. Okay, control is for you. Retention is for, we don't want white people reproducing. Retention that motherfucker. Teach them that shit. Okay, that's why they try to teach it to you, because they don't want you reproducing and having sex and having the kind of sex that will produce what you're thinking. Because they already know that you don't like them, and that's deep within your subconscious. That can come out in the sexual energy and attack, okay? Tsunamis and all type of shit. So they don't want you to know this stuff. They want you to get the Montauk Chia, which is good stuff, you know, if you really study it and use it to a certain degree. But what they want you to do is retention yourself, don't have no more babies, use the condom, here's some eggs to go in there to mix up the soup with you, for you. Okay? So too frequent dissipation of semen, you could do all of that. You could hold on to your semen without those pressing on things underneath the scrotum. You do it with the mind. The masters held back with the mind, okay? You don't wait till you get down here and then say, oh, shit, I better. No, you stop that shit when you know it's gonna happen, right up here in the brain where it belongs. Because, as I said before, your body doesn't reabsorb semen, okay? And it becomes putrid and rancid and could kill you. Lack of frequent erection, okay? And that's the reason why I would use this. Lack of adequate saliva production, and which is happening to me right now. Not absorbing enough yin essence to replenish the yang. Deficient qi flow to the conception vessel. And that's high blood pressure and all those different types of illnesses a man gets based on his diet. Overweight. Overweight could do those things to you. High blood pressure could do that. And quite a few other things that could, certain mental traumas and so forth. But this is the position here. But I would say this leg right here wraps around his back instead of hanging down right here. It should wrap around his back. Okay? And his leg can actually be sitting like he's sitting in a chair. Okay? So you're sitting in a chair basically facing each other. While you're sitting in a chair facing each other, what he's doing, if he's intelligent, if this esoteric statue says what it means to me, when you kiss the female, you always suck or eat as much of the saliva as you can to pull the energy in. This keeps you from leaking your energy because they are magnetic. They're magnetic and they're going to pull your energy. Just by talking to them every day, just being around them, they pull your energy. So you suck her. Remember, we're talking love here. You're loving this person that you're dealing with. So you're sucking her saliva as you have sex with her in this a necking crane position. Okay? And of course, your hands become like eyes or like invisible or etheric hands that can reach inside her body. Okay? That's called the necking crane. Excellent technique that you could use to visualize when you're about to go in to have sex or energy, and if you think you live by a lot of negative energy, or if you live by any electronics and things like that, you visualize yourself inside a golden octahedron. This is the most powerful, that I could find, powerful protection technique, is to visualize yourself inside a golden octahedron surrounded in violet, okay? Now you're going to start off seeing this symbol at the pineal gland. You're going to hold it at the pineal gland, and as you get comfortable with the visualization, you see your whole body inside the golden octahedron. Okay?
How many sides does that have? 8?
How many what?
How many sides does that have?
Sides? 8, yeah. Oct means 8. In German, oct is 8. Okay? It's actually the Pyramid of Egypt, but you just can't, because of the sand, the bottom part is hidden. All pyramids look like this. You just don't see the underground half. This is the underground half that Noble Drew Ali, Pascal Beverly Randolph, and a few others traveled through and came out on the other side, which made them a prophet in Egypt. And Noble Drew Ali also did it at the pyramids of Montauk, Long Island. This is one of the students that were in London when I did a lecture in London, Your Secret Self. This is one of the drawings and dreams that she gave me, and I thought it was fitting to talk about it here. Let me just see if I can make it a little bigger. And maybe I'll do it this way, yeah. I'm learning new things about this computer. This is a dream. First of all, the dream, we'll talk about that first. It says, I dreamt once that I woke up and I had a very large erect penis. This is a female talking. I was confused and couldn't remember I had always had a penis and wondered if my partner knew I had a penis and how I could make love to him. Wow. Then
I then went.
I then went to the bathroom and started masturbating, and then I woke up. Okay, so that's a letter that she, a dream that she had, and we're going to talk about that. This here, up at the top, is the drawing she gave me, which was flowers with the violet. And what's interesting about that is that the opposite of violet is yellow. So there's some type of balance going there. Flowers, rose petal. But let's see what I wrote here. Either you were a male in the past life, or will be in the future. In this life, you need to connect to your male energy, which you have approximately 40%. That means that you need to connect to your left or right brain.
I'm sorry, babe, I need my bag.
Yeah.
Get that.
Okay, where was I? Okay, that means that you need to connect to your left or right brain. Normally the male energy is in the right brain, which projects out, but there are people born with the opposite system. Allow your mind to think more male-like. So whenever you have a dream, guys, if you have a dream of a female, that just really means that you need to connect to your female energy. It has nothing to do with a female that you like out there. And the person that you saw in the dream was just happening what you saw, that you may know her or seen her in physical reality. And the dream says, okay, he likes this image. Let me use this image to teach him something about himself, okay? And what it's saying is that uses a female and you're a man, is saying connect more to physical reality, okay? If it's a female, she has a dream of a man, she needs to connect more to spiritual reality.
What if you have a dream, and I don't know if this has ever happened to anybody else, but you dream of a person who's one sex and then they transition to another sex?
You probably need to connect them both. And based on the dream, the amount of time he spent with the female, if it's more than what he spent with the male, then that's the balance. He needs to spend more time dealing with physical, spiritual reality if it's male. More physical reality with the female. So it's a balance. That's what that would be saying. Because when you leave your body by going through the pineal gland and go to the astral plane, you are both of them. The drawings show a blossomed violet crown chakra with a balance of a yellow and turquoise lotus. The yellow is symbolic of light or to reveal. It is also happiness. The blue lotus within the yellow 8-pointed star is connected to the stem or the phallus of the violet lotus. And let's see. I guess that's it. This is a perfect example of spiritual balance that needs physical balance, okay? So in the drawing, let's look at it one more time, real briefly. This, anytime you see a stem, it's always a phallic symbol. We all know that the flower is what? What's another word for flower, but spelled the same way? What do women do when they have their menstrual? They flow. They're flowers, okay? So flowers represent what? Flowers, the flower of life, okay? Or the flower of life. The sun, that's the male energy, okay? And you see the phallus, and the flowers are always dealing with the vagina. Of course, when you're having sex and you want to, you have straighten out the place and have it hooked up the way you want it, you put your organ in there to keep the negative energy. Organ is sexual. That's why organ and orgasm are basically the same thing. One is inside your body, one is outside your body. Desk size pyramid with large pink crystal, magnetic gold, iron, so on and so on. We talked about all of this. What you could do with this particular one, I think I may have one in the car, I don't know. A black felt marker can be used to write out any archetypes or petitions and placed onto your altar. So you're going to write whatever it is with a black marker on the organ, which is pink and gold. Gold intensifies the pink. Pink creates unconditional love, and it will attract people who have any kind of love for you or likeness for you. And of course, the pyramid shape is power within itself. Okay, it's really on top of the Tekken is the pyramid. Okay. These are more pyramids that we make, organ pyramids made for sexual energy. We put the spirals on them because you can use the spiral if you feel like you want to create. Every time you have an orgasm, that's a creation. Whatever your mind was thinking at the point of orgasm, guess what? That came out of your pineal gland and went out into the ethers and is created somewhere. Either it attaches to you, somebody you know, or somebody out there. So every time you had an orgasm in your life, something was created. Okay? That's the power of it. It is organ. Okay? So every time you have sex, you should have in mind something that you want to bring into creation, whether it be physical or spiritual. This is a technique dealing with, let's see if I can blow up just a little bit. Body massage. Step one, this is your left hand, right hand. And you're gonna move along this path right here. Squiggly lines, hitting the glands and the chakras. And when you get to the buttocks, you're gonna make that circle shape and come all the way down. But you're not gonna go back up this way. You're gonna start from the top again and come all the way down. Because why? We talked about it last week. Come on now, you gotta know this. Why do we do it this and from the head down for the female?
Her energy flows
yeah.
down.
It
That's
flows
right,
down,
brother. Very good.
Mhm.
Because the female energy flows from the top down. Okay? And brothers walking down the street looking at this area right here, that's voodoo. Got you. Got you. They're functioning from up here. You go and Google Gaga and drip it from your mouth. Look at they got you fucked up.
That look like two eyes on the buttocks right there
There
looking
you go.
back.
That's right. Start from the top and move downward. Glide your hands along the path. Visualize your hands talking to her body. Okay? Say what you want to say. Mantras, root mudras, whatever you want to happen. Start creating that in her. Because at the point of when she has her orgasm, you want those thoughts to be in her that you want to create. Oh, why the fuck you doing it? To feel good? For a minute? No. Visual your hands talking to her body. See your hand go inside her body as you move them along the path. Okay? So your hand's gonna get deeper. You're gonna change the pressure. Okay, the first time you do it, you're like that. Next time you do it, your hands are like this. That, change it constant. Every time you do it, change it. You can do it up to as many times as she can take until she becomes very stimulated. Okay? Step two, and we blow that up a little bit. And give a hand to my model today. She modeled for me for this. Glide your hands along the path of the buttocks and back in the back of the legs. Continually change the volume of pressure, making each time around different from the last. Okay, so this is after doing the first one I showed you. Maybe you want to do that about at least 9 times. You always want to deal with that number 9, which is completion. If you want to, you can do the 12 because she has 12 openings and she vibrates at 12. The 12 zodiacs and the 12 all of that. And that's why the zodiac was really called Mother Zudicaius. Because Mother Zudicaius has the 12 openings, which represent the 12 openings of the black woman, C. Freeman L. Second technique, as I said, Now you're just gonna start with the curly cues right on the buttocks and bring it all the way down the legs, okay? And again, we're using what? Seaweed oil, we're using rose oils, and all those different oils we said, you're using all of that, okay? And that's gonna, because anything that you cannot eat, do not put it on your damn body. Make sure that whatever you put on your body, you can eat it, all right? So make sure you do that. You don't want to go to the store and get some grease or something like that to use for a massage and let her skin absorb that or your skin absorb that, because it could be toxic. You can go and read some of the labels in that on those things. Third technique, and don't forget, this is a interaction. You guys can have input. Tell me, maybe you know something that I can add on to this that might work, or you have a question, or something you could say that I don't know. So it's more like a discussion. It's not really, just sitting in front of me. I'm just talking to y'all like that. Step 3, while allowing your hands to follow the path, recite magical chants, mantras, spells, and affirmations, etc. So while you're massaging her and you're changing the degree of the pressure and visualizing your hands going within the body, you're doing what? You're reciting what? Magical chants, mantras, and spells. Okay, she is the magic. Okay, so you're going to be doing that. You're preparing her for the sexual act. This is really stimulation, but your thoughts are moving through your hands into her body. So at the point of that orgasm, you can bring forth that creation. All orgasms are creation. The words of power can be silently spoken and used as an internal yin magic, okay? So if I go like this, that's female, that's yin. So you can speak without making those sounds while you're doing this, okay? That's yin magic. Or spoken out loud and used as an external yang magic, okay? That's more male. So you can actually speak it while you're doing this, when you hear the sound, or you can make the sound silently, because your breath, by making it, your breath is still, the energy is still there, okay? So this is an excellent massage technique, and it's very simple. I didn't want to come with some really hard, complicated stuff. Very simple. Just follow the pink line around. You're gonna go around. Now you always, when you're massaging the breast, you always go in. Never massage outward for the female, because you're losing energy. You want the energy to come in toward the heart chakra. Here, so you're gonna spiral around. You're going around and you're going in toward the heart. Both sides, left and right. And then you're going to hit the solar plexus and so forth, all the way down. And you're going to come all the way down her leg. Now here, you don't go back to the top. Here, you follow the path all the way around the foot, all the way up to the inner thigh, and then you're going to come all the way through to the vagina here, jump from the vagina and go straight up the other, down the other leg and up and around like that. Okay? But remember, you're using both hands. Okay? So actually, your final point is going to be here. And that could be either 9 to 12 times. I would recommend either one of those, actually. G-spot, we hear a lot about this stuff. I'm not going to go into the history of it and all of that, but I will read this just to show that the female is more stimulated at the early parts of the vagina, not all up in there. That yes, that is stimulatory too, but you've got to start here, and that's where the most sensitive area is. Now you're going to use what's known as cleansing fingers. These two fingers right here. These are Taoist hand symbol fingers. We talked about this before. You could actually take these fingers over a bottle of water and chant whatever it is you chant and clean your water. You create that spiral with these two fingers right here. Okay? So that's and those are very powerful mudras. We're going to do classes on the mudras way later, and Taoist symbols. G-spot fingering is like a roller coaster. You start off slow and soft, increase the speed and pressure, and then switch the technique and repeat the process again. By doing this, you're building up further anticipation and sexual tension for the organ. And there's that word organ again. But again, it's the small front area here where the female is more stimulated, and of course the clitoris. But and as she gets stimulated, the vagina actually grows or extends longer. And I think these are the two fingers we just talked about. And what you're going to do is, we'll read this. First, start with 100 slow and soft circles using the pads of your fingers and not the tips. These are the pads of your fingers right here, not the tips up here. You might scratch it with your nail or some shit, I don't know. But you're going to use that. You're going to do the circular motions. Now you can go either left or clockwise or counterclockwise. Again, if you go to the left, you creating spiritual energy. If you go to the right, it's physical. So you're going to use these two fingers while speaking an incantation. Start making the motion similar to telling someone to come here. Use 100 slow light strokes, 100 medium strokes, and 100 fast hard strokes. Okay? I would say a little more than that before you get to the hard strokes. But if you're only stimulating her, I wouldn't use the hard strokes at all. But it could be up to 500, actually, 500. Finally, add a quick up and down motion while your free hand rests just above her pelvic bone. Okay, so now the first thing you do, you're starting off here. You're no more than an inch in. Okay, and you're going to stay there because the G-spot is right where you are, where this finger should be, right here, about right here. And it's like, I forgot what that area is called, but we're going to talk about it. We'll look at it later. But you're going to do the spiral, whichever direction. Then the second move is to go the up and down motion with just the finger, and then the whole hand do the up and down motion while the finger comes at you, like they said, come at you, come here. So these are 3 moves you're doing all in one session. You're doing them all at once, okay? 3 to 500 times. I don't know how to read that, but let's skip past that and go to something else first, and I'll come back to that. The sets of 9. We talked about the set of 9. As a matter of fact, let's see, there's a chart on it. Yeah. We talked about the set of 9. There are different sets of 9s. This is one of them. Whereas you're going to insert your penis. This is after we've done all those techniques we talked about, and she's stimulated, ready, and all of that. You're going to go in on the first set of 9. You're going to do 9 shallow thrusts. That means no more than an inch. Okay? And then 1 deep thrust. Then you're going to pause. When you pause, you reach down and you kiss her. I'm talking about between the first and second. You bend down and you kiss her in the mouth and you absorb all her saliva. Take all her saliva from her, if you can. Then go to number 2, and you're going to do 8 shallow thrusts and 2 deep thrusts. Okay? Now, when you get from when you get to point 2 and go into point 3, in between that, what you're going to do now is you're going to now allow your penis to do the next 7, going from left to right, meaning like moving like a eel, electric eel through water. So now when I go in on the third one, I'm going to do 7 in, but I'm going 7 in, not straight in, but to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, and then 3 deep ones straight in. Okay? Then I'm going to go to step number 4, but before I get to number 4, now by the time you get to 3, you're already doing all of these at the same time now, the 3 things that I mentioned. Now you're going to get to 4, and when you get to step number 4, what you're going to do is visualize your penis as a calligraphy pen. And now you're going to begin to write mantras inside a vagina when you get to number 6. Number 4, you're visualizing yourself as the penis as a pen. You're holding that thought in between. And while you're holding that thought, again, you're going to go down, get the saliva, and all those other things I just said. And now you're going to start number 5. Number 5 is interesting Because with that calligraphy pen, you're gonna do the 5-pointed star inside her vagina. You're gonna do the 5-pointed star at the roof of your mouth after you absorb the fluids from her mouth, okay? So that's, when you get to number 5 now, you're gonna next move to number 4, and in between number 4 and number 5, now you're writing out what it is you want after number 5. Okay? So you're gonna go what? 4 2-inch or 1-inch, and then 6 deep thrust. Now after you do all of this, you're gonna do the same technique over again. Instead of 1 inch in at the shallow thrust, you're gonna go 2 inches in at shallow thrust. Okay? And then 2 inches in 8. And then finally, when you get to the third set, 3 inches in, and so on and so on. Okay, any questions so far? After the first set of 9, deliberately direct the movement of your penis to the first three times, and excuse me.
To the left.
After the first set of 9, deliberately direct the movement of your penis to the left 3 times, and then to the right 3 times, like an electrical eel. We just talked about that. So these are just things that, let's go back for a minute and read what that was. How much time we have for now? Each insertion should coordinate with your breath, okay? So when you do the deep thrust, or every time you go in, you're just gonna say it right here. Insertion should coordinate with your breath. Inhale deeply when inserting your jade stem, and exhale when withdrawing it. This will complete the first set of 9. Now, also in all of the positions that you do, if she's breathing out, you're breathing in. Okay? You're coordinating your heart, you're coordinating the heart chakra, all the chakras. Remember, every chakra that she has, if you have a positive, she has a negative. And so you're connecting that. And so you want to coordinate your breathing, in and out, okay? Not both of y'all breathing out at the same time, not both of y'all inhaling at the same time, okay? After completing the first set of 9, place your tongue into her mouth and begin to swallow her saliva 3 times, absorbing her secretions. Start the second set of 9. And that's exactly what we talked about, okay? Any questions on that so far? Okay, now this is for the females, which, man, we have it for you too, but, you know, females thing is a little more powerful here, and I think they need it more, honestly. This is called the condom curse, because they come across a lot of fucked up niggas. I hear a lot of stories. And because people, you know, when people leave, if they're fucked up here and evil here, that don't mean they turn good after they die. Okay, they will be evil spirits. They will be evil even in the astral plane, and when they come back, they still fucked up and evil and mad because they got fucked over based on their karma. Okay, so people just, it's inert in their consciousness and what they've learned throughout their lifetimes and how they view it. Okay.
Let me get you to pause for a second.
AIDS and condoms and all of that, where all that came from. Okay. White people used to have sex with goats, and that's what condoms are made out of. They still have sex with goats to this day. They do all kind of nasty stuff. So that's what the condom is made. You had nothing to do with this, okay, at all. You couldn't even get venereal disease. They had to give it to you at Tuskegee. Okay. The condom curse: obtain a used condom from your lover. Write the victim's name and birth information on a piece of paper, and place it into the condom and bury the condom in the graveyard. Okay? So sisters, you got a nigga that's talking all that yang and not keeping it real. When that nigga come over and he put that condom on, keep one of those, keep a few of them if you want. Do this ritual right here, and he will not have another erection until you say so. Okay? This shit gonna be dead, all right? So that's for the sisters. There is the cervix we talked about, which is the second opening the two openings she has down here, which is the vagina and then the cervix. We talked about the high sensitivity area right there. Sexual vampirism, we talked about that. Let's see. Okay, now I can go back to read all of that tiny writing. Oh, and here's the female yin hex. Any woman wishing to go
To gain.
to gain the love. Let me just blow that up.